What's good, YouTube, and welcome to the house. We've got a jam-packed market watch for you guys thanks to the UDS, but starting off with something maybe a little unrelated with some ban list preparation mixed in is Duelist Pack Rivals of the Pharaoh. Yes, Duelist Pack review. So, Duelist Pack Rival of the Pharaohs kind of goes under a lot of people's radars because it's not a legendary duelist, and even still, you can still get a box of this sealed for $60 from ARG. But Silent Magician, Dark Sanctuary, Silent Swordsman, and even Magnet Reverse all doing relatively well. And why is Magnet Reverse messing around here? Why is it back up to $6 from $3? When did this happen? Why did this happen? How did it happen? Well, if we're looking into Magnet Reverse, also on eBay up there a lot, also, there's a unique interaction that might have happened if the ban list had hit Sky Strikers, and people are still thinking that way, that, hey, this actually gets Sky Striker Ace Kagari back because it's summoned from the extra deck. Originally, we saw Magnet Reverse abused for Buster, ABC Dragon Buster, but now we see people considering it for the Sky Striker engine. It is a spell for the graveyard. Pretty inventive stuff, and when we're looking at the set overall, it hits that point of collectability and playability. Yugi, Silent Magician, all grown up and looking nice. It's a waifu card. It's actually a good card. It's in the dual locks. It's doing everything. And Silent Swordsman, also similarly, pretty good. Warrior Body even, and Dark Sanctuary, Bakura's card. It's got this nice mix that feels almost legendary duelist-like, but it's been going up over time. This has fluctuated between $8 and $12 for so often. This has only continuously gone up. I feel like they reprint the Silent Magician cards into the graveyard in general, except for her. And then we see also Silent Swordsman just kind of sticking here. All these cards, they're their only printings. So really interesting to see how well it has stuck and how kind of it's been in the back of my radar because it's not a legendary duelist, but yeah, it's interesting that this duelist pack has done so well and has some future meta implications depending on how the ban lists are going. Speaking of Sky Strikers, they took down the UDS, and when we're looking at how it's done on the market, baby bump. It's got 45 over here on TCG Player and towards 47 on eBay. I think the bigger implication is how much we've seen Thunder Dragons phase out at the UDS when consistency and extra rounds played such a factor that 7 slots were Sky Striker and 7 slots were Salamangreat, and this happens to have one of the best Salamangreat matchups in the format for consistency. But with that looming April potential ban list also stares at this deck and makes people scared to invest in it because, again, taking large chunks of top cut while Salamangreat hasn't really had time to force itself on a meta, express its time despite its huge volumes. I don't think they're going to be hitting Salamangreat so early. I think it's going to get its WCQ format similar to Monarch. So people are kind of scared to touch this, yet it is still rising slowly as people are considering it for their WCQ deck. Impermanence does have a reprint coming up. Ash Blossom Sheep. Overall, this deck, it's not too bad unless Engage or Widow Anchor is getting hit, and then, ooh, there's some suffering to be had. Talking about Sky Strikers and countering Sky Strikers, Denko is seeing a pretty big buyout over here on TCG Player, going up rather swiftly on all of its variants, but on eBay, it's kind of just chilling. NECH Unlimited, 430 near mint, new listing. We've still got $5 versions over here, so if you're wanting your Denko Sekkas, you've been thinking about it, TCG Player usually shows us a look at what will happen at the rest of the market. I think you should have your playset of Denko Sekkas if you're considering them at all to counter Salamangreats, to counter Sky Strikers. Yeah, but if you're playing those decks, you're playing the mainstay deck, like, you're not going to be wanting Denko Sekka in your deck. So, give and take. Obviously searchable if you're playing the Thunder Dragon Fusion, but a lot of the Thunder Dragons opt to play the Sekka's Light build. We'll actually talk about that in a bit, but I think Denko Sekka is just so good. When I'm playtesting online and we're playing on Dueling Book during the streams, I drop Denko Sekka and I get the wow, really? Wow kind of reactions. Oh, speaking of other interesting meta developments, Lava Golem DT seeing a buyout here. And so what's happening here? I thought Sphere Mode was better. People are playing around Sphere Mode by only leaving 2 monsters on board. And guess what happens when the meta develops like that? Let's mix Lava Golem on up into it and take care of those 2 monsters. It's really interesting to see how that develops and gets taken care of. And it's so funny. And the DT really getting a huge buyout. You still have a rather nice version, such as the, I believe, rare near mint, like towards $1. Yeah, so you still have relatively budget versions, but a lot of low quantities. So if you're really into that meta gameplay and you've been considering, you know, sphere mode's expensive, well, people are playing around sphere mode. Why not Lava Golem? It's just this kind of, I love watching formats develop like this. It gets me really excited, and I find it so funny to see that influence from the market and murmurs, and it's so funny to kind of see that development. Dangers and Thunder Dragons not really moving around at all. I just wanted to touch on this. After its lackluster performance over at the UDS, I think it shows how people don't take the UDS as seriously despite how many amazing players play, because the attendance is so much lower. UDS, I think winning that means more than a YCS, and the prizing alone justifies it. The amazing field of players going for that justifies it, but again, that's just my opinion, my take on it. But realistically, we saw Colossus fall a bit before, down towards 45. Now it's actually rebounded up slowly through time, and the rest of the meta kind of staying around where it was. Levia near towards 50, and I think it was 11 a while ago, and everything else just kind of sticking around where it is from Soul Fusion. So we're not really seeing danger drops or anything crazy. Boral Sword has actually kind of decreased from that 90 slowly, but again, danger not really going anywhere, and Danger Zombie also being another deck that's popping up more and more. A solid top the UDS with it. So I think people talking about the Danger engine getting hit, it can't get hit too seriously. They've got to sell Battles of Legend. They got to sell the mega packs, and I think there's confidence in how people are treating it. Pot of Extravagance falling just a couple of dollars. I think this is an important note because the special editions will be coming out, and I think you'll see the bottom out prices. I've seen a lot of you guys comment, I wish it was 50. I'd get it at 50. I want it for my control deck, my Guru deck. It's just a bit too much for me to justify right now. I think you'll see that $50 price point after we see the special editions coming out. Magical Musket's got a random buyout with Magical Musket Last Stand. A lot of low quantities still around for these cards. I think Magical Musket Max is a really freaking good card. I just don't think that this is going to be the deck. I don't think this is it, Kev. But again, I could see it being a really good control deck. I just don't know how it's going to find its way in. You got a going second option. It really does fix a lot of the deck, but is it worth it? Let me know what your thoughts about Magical Muskets are in the comment section down below. If you think it's going to compete with the current meta, what it needs from a ban list to compete, and do you think we'll be getting the cards by the WCQ? Just the Link Monster, right? Is there more? There might be more. Let me know in the comment section down below. I know the Link Monster's huge for them, but the rest of it, there are low quantities here and there, but that's the huge spike from this camp. I wanted to talk about there can be only one. I think this is actually somewhat undervalued, but again, we're rushing towards Megaton and Battle of Legends season. There's a play that's being talked about a lot in my Discord and my streams that comes up, and that's the Nightmare Griffin and Curious play. So you're able to Curious and send any trap you want from the deck, and then basically just link up with Curious and use Nightmare Griffin to back it up. 2 points here. Maybe it's a future route for the Thunder Dragons to take and to be able to get Summon Limit back. That seems really good against Salomon Greats, but not against Sky Striker, so I don't know that you would be main decking this. There can be only one is very annoying against a lot of decks and is also a great send target, especially in the, say, ability in matches, but I don't think it's good for Thunder Dragons. So I think that this Floodgate is better on its own. It's inside decks for a lot of other decks besides it. So we're talking about Thunder Dragon counter versus Thunder Dragon's enabler, but the Griffin play I think only comes up from those decks that can put a ton of bodies on boards, that can do a ton of things and go up into Curious like that, and I think we'll see stuff like Summon Limit get abused more than there can be only one in this format. But let me know what you guys think of the Curious Griffin play. Does it have its chinks in the armor? Do you think it's too susceptible to hand traps with how many hand trap Salomon Greats can be fitting into their deck? Same with Sky Strikers. I see the chinks in the armor. I see that you don't want to continue to go up that route and just get slammed with something like Ash and Permanence, etc. And even Ghost Spell, I guess, with Griffin. Can you Ghost Spell Griffin? It sets it to the field. Actually, I want to read that. Ghost Bell. I know it should stop interactions with Graveyard, but does it stop it from field? As a card from the Graveyard, hand, or extra deck, especially... Nah, Ghost Spell doesn't stop that. That's an interesting interaction to think about. You add a card from the graveyard to the hand, deck, or extra deck. It's not adding. Special summon from the graveyard, you're not doing that, or banishing a card. Yeah, Ghost Spell can't stop Griffin. A good thing I caught myself there. But again, what do you guys think of the Griffin play and how it interacts with the hand traps in the current meta? And what would you like to see in decks that have used it? Can only Thunder Dragons do that, or could maybe Guard Dragon Crusadia find a way up into that when forced to go first, or is just putting out the 4 negates better? Let me know all your thoughts down below. Please subscribe if you haven't already. Give this video a thumbs up if you enjoy this faster approach of putting more cards together. I've been doing it a lot lately. I've heard good feedback from you guys, and I've been trying to get to all the cards faster and run through like this, but still give my reasoning and talk about it and why it impresses itself on the meta and my own thoughts. I've been trying to give that to you guys, and a lot of you guys seem to have liked it, so do let me know about that in the comment section down below. And thank you to the Patreons, by the way. I mailed out everything from that for this month. Thank you so much for the support. I wouldn't be able to really do some of the things I do without you guys, and I appreciate it. Thanks for watching.